What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. I want to share one other way that God has provided for me through BR Legacy while we're on that theme, and that is with an office space. So it's pretty awesome because if I didn't have the office space, I would have to work from home, and it is just not really an option for me to work from home and actually be able to work because our boys stay at home. And so a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old that love their dad just are not gonna just not interrupt for a whole day, and our house is not huge. There wouldn't be a dedicated office space possible or anything like that, or even a dedicated desk really. And so working from home was not the move, but like leasing a commercial office space would have been pretty pricey. But the office space that I got is pretty cheap because it's technically warehouse space, and so it's not actually like built out. It's not like it's not like insulated necessarily. It's just kind of a room within a warehouse that has a window unit that can help the temperature in there, but that's it. And so I just pay $703.25 a month for an office space, which is still a chunk of change compared to, man, if I could just be taking that $700 home, that'd be great. But realistically, it just wouldn't be possible with our current rent setup and the living situation to do that. And emotionally, I wouldn't really want to work from home. And so even if there was a room to do it in, and our boys were able to keep that line super crisp when I'm at work and when I'm not, emotionally, it would just feel like I just want to hang out with my boys, or I just want to nap, or I would want to be meeting with clients or whatever and just feel like I can't really do that from home very well. And so anyways, I'm thankful for that office space, and it's a bigger story as to how I was able to secure that, which I could share now. I guess I'll save it for another video, but now it's all kind of weird, so now I'll just share it. But the office space is also connected how I got the warehouse space, and I wouldn't have gotten I have 2 leases for 2 different portions of square footage in the same building that collectively serve as a sublease for our church that moved into this building as a lease, but could only really afford to move into this building if I subleased this square footage. And so I would not have subleased the office space for BR Legacy if I hadn't committed to subleasing the entirety of the warehouse space. And I wasn't planning on subleasing the entirety of the warehouse space until it was necessary really for the church to be able to move forward. And so it's kind of cool in terms of thinking of it as God's provision, because I moved here, I work for the church, I'm here to help plant and lead and establish this church, right? And so that's what I'm serving, that's what I'm giving my life for. And in doing that, you give up a lot of business opportunity, you give up a lot of just personal ambition or what's best for me. Like, it becomes more self-sacrificial and for the greater good of moving the church forward. And that's how I got into this warehouse, was, man, this is going to help serve the church. So it's a no-brainer, and it's been amazing for the church. I mean, the church has thrived. It's been so helpful. Before that, we were meeting in a hotel. The hotel canceled our contract. No other place would even let us in. We just searched high and low, and no one. We just could not find a place to have church, and we weren't going to find a hotel nearly as good as the hotel situation we were in currently for several reasons. And so we were just kind of stuck, but felt clarity through prayer and through our core team and through our board that, man, the building would be so helpful if we had one, but we can't find one. But we finally found this one that fell into our lap through a crazy story, but we couldn't really afford it. But now we can, because I'm committing to pay this lease. The reason I committed to pay the lease is for the church, but what it allowed me to do is brainstorm, how in the world am I going to make money with a $4,000 warehouse lease? And I just went back to what I had been doing a year, 2 years earlier in my garage, flipping stuff. And I was like, what if I had this much square footage? How much stuff would I have to flip to generate this type of profit? What would I need to spend? All this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I could make money doing this. So I signed this sublease. And so this is kind of a multiple provision in one video now, because I went ahead and told this story. But I was not, when I moved into entrepreneurship and off of staff, when I thought about that, I was thinking I would purely run BR Legacy, and that's really it. Maybe we ramp up the budget. I was not thinking I'm going to scale up flipping stuff. The flipping stuff has just been something I've done in order to justify paying for, in order to provide for the lease that I signed for this whole warehouse space, which the only reason I did that was for the benefit of the church. Of course, I felt like I can make money doing it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pay $4,000 out of pocket. I couldn't afford that sustainably. But man, if I can even break even, it's a no-brainer. This doesn't have to make me a bunch of money. This is going to be worth it for what it does for the church, right? And so, in a sense, God provided the whole warehouse business to me through my heart to serve the church, because otherwise I wouldn't have pursued it. I wouldn't have been looking to do this even out of my garage anymore. I had stopped doing it after summer 2020. And so I pick it back up at a higher scale. It bleeds into BR Legacy, because I wouldn't have been able to have the office for BR Legacy unless I had signed this sublease for the whole warehouse. And so through a passion for the local church, God provided an office space for me for BR Legacy, which has been so helpful, and more helpful than I even realized at the time, compared to what I would have had to pay for another office space, or how it would have affected workflow to not have an office space at all. And he also provided me the courage to pursue flipping stuff at scale in order to cover the remainder of that warehouse lease for what BR Legacy doesn't cover. So, and that is certainly a testimony as well that bleeds into several. But that's where we'll end it for today. God's a great provider, and hey, you can't be so generous that you end up poor. If it's generosity unto God, you can't serve God so well that you end up poor. I mean, you could be like, God could call you to poverty to serve the poor and be one of the ones you are wanting to be a light for. What am I trying to say? I don't even know. A life sacrificially lived for the glory of God and for the advancement of the kingdom, and to serve the local church. Like, that decision to put my eggs in the God basket did not leave me hung out to dry, but actually God used it for my own good and provision. And it's not just the only time he's ever done it, but that's what he does. He's not looking to suck your soul out of your chest and leave you bare. He's looking to fill you. And so, man, you can serve him with freedom. That's all I got for y'all today. I'll talk to y'all soon. Life is worship. God is love.